I smiled wistfully as familiar buildings of UA came into view. Soon I'd start my first year at the hero course, fulfilling a lifelong dream. But nervousness stirred too. This was where everything changed between me and Kaken. Flashbacks assaulted me of our childhood. Kaken was always the strongest, protecting me from bullies with his quirk. I admired him endlessly and we were inseparable. But that was before I learned I was quirkless at age 4, dashing my hero dreams. Kaken acted oddly after, distancing himself until resentment festered into cruelty. Any trace of the friend I cherished vanished as he mocked my weakness. Those memories haunted me daily, fueling my determination to prove worthy despite lacking power. Arriving at orientation, Kaken's signature spikes emerged above others. His burning confidence felt leagues away now, a foreign entity from my former friend. Our eyes met. Instead of fondness, only disdain flickered in his glare before turning pointedly away. My chest ached at confirmation nothing remained of our bond. Class 1A welcomed an array of intriguing heroes in training. Making new friends eased loneliness, yet Kaken's presence was a constant storm cloud amid sunshine. In every exercise, he singled me out to assert dominance with ruthless quirk usage and biting insults. His callousness stung, though I refused giving in to hurt. My goal remained earning respect through skills alone where power failed, inspiring others with a smile however hard days weighed. And inspire I did. Peers voiced admiration for perseverance handling Kaken's harassment with grace. Even so, tensions rose during combat training one day. Kaken unleashed a fiery barrage pinning me helplessly against scorched steel. "Give up, Deku," he spat venomously. But surrendering meant losing all I struggled towards. Summoning resolve, I refused to back down. Only for Kaken's next blast catching my shoulder, searing flesh. Howls rent the air as my vision whited from agony. When blurriness cleared, medics attended the wound while Kaken stared in cold indifference to my suffering. That night, loneliness consumed me as rain poured ceaselessly outside the infirmary. Where had our bond gone, leaving only this bitter shell pretending friendship never existed? Tears mingled with downpour beneath the window, mourning innocence stolen by Rat's corruption twisting one so dear into a shadow of his former self. Sleep eventually took me into fleeting escapes, where smiling ghosts of memories long faded yet lingered. A tender voice called out, "Izuku, don't lose hope. Your heart is your greatest power." Snapping awake at dawn, I knew his soothing tone echoed, "All Might, my longtime hero." Determination swelled anew within my chest. I would prove through perseverance and conviction alone that quirk meant little compared to will. And maybe, just maybe, redemption remained possible even for the coldest of souls if shown in others' light. This I pledged as injuries healed and a new day's sun-crested mountains. My journey was only beginning at UA's hallowed grounds. Now it was time to unfurl my wings and soar, blazing a trail of inspiration in skies once thought forbidden. As the new semester began, I remained determined to prove myself at UA despite Bakugou's relentless hostility. His explosions grew more volatile with each training session, pushing boundaries in attempts to make me crack under pressure. Bruises layered upon scars of past hurts, yet inside an ember of hope yet flickered. As long as I endured, giving up wasn't an option. One afternoon, All Might oversaw our combat simulations. My newest strategy involved analyzing quirks to find openings rather than matching power head-on. It worked flawlessly against each foe until only Bakugou remained, sneering as usual yet eyes betraying unease at my improvements. Our standoff commenced as sirens blared, artificial city crumbling around flashing blows. Ducking granular mines, I noticed Bakugou leading limb exposures after lunging, a rare chance. Spinning low, I flipped him onto rubble with practiced grace, pinning wrists tightly. Triumph surged until Bakugou's face twisted in rage unseen before.
"No quirkless Deku can beat me,"
he roared, explosions bursting violently between our fallen forms. Searing heat engulfed my vision along with screams ripping through smoke, only later realizing in horror they emerged from my own charred throat as flames consumed flesh. When I awoke in recovery, All Might loomed with uncharacteristic solemnity. "Midoriya, what happened was unacceptable. However, anger often stems from deeper roots. Perhaps now is time for forgiveness, to help both heal." His wisdom resonated, though wounds ache with memories freshly reopened. Days blurred into each other as medicine numbed agony, loneliness the true poison sapping strength. Darkness veiled my thoughts constantly until one dawn, footfalls echoed down sterile halls with purpose rarely seen there. With them emerged Bakugou, features contorted in conflict beneath determined eyes boring into mine.
Deku, that was out of line. I didn't mean for things to get so far.
Words strange on his tongue yet rang sincere. But scars tied our fates too deeply for trust rebuilding overnight. My mask remained neutral as my heart twisted in complexity, feeling both yearning and remaining bitterness entangled. Before the response came, All Might arrived with a mission of hope glimmering in his smile, to see worth where once was deemed worthless. Bakugou has realized that cruel intentions solve nothing. Why not start fresh, as friends should? Taken aback yet touched by this act of goodwill, we tentatively shook hands, agreement binding new beginnings. Laughter followed as nostalgic tales distracted from present pains, old smiles emerging from ghosts reawakened by forgiveness magic. Time would tell if empathy lasted beyond walls containing volatile histories, yet optimism stirred within my chest. No matter storms life ushered in, as long as light remained to guide lost souls to shore, even the harshest of hearts contained potential for blossoming anew when shown compassion's gentle rays. Our journey was long, yet walking together beat traversing alone any day. From here, only sunrises beckoning lay ahead. After the incident in the infirmary, Bakugou and I began cautiously rebuilding our friendship. It wasn't perfect, old habits died hard and his sharp tongue still got the better of him sometimes. But I sensed he was truly making an effort to change. Our dynamic evolved further during our first sports festival. When it came time for the tournament bracket, we found ourselves facing off in the finals. Bakugou was every bit the formidable opponent I remembered, but our clash felt different this time. Gone was the seething rage, instead, a fiery competitiveness and mutual respect shone in his eyes. We pushed each other to new limits, trading blow for blow in an intense battle that had the crowd on the edge of their seats. When I finally overpowered him with a new technique, he grinned and offered a hand to pull me up.
You've really improved, Deku. But don't get cocky, I'm still gonna surpass you one day.
He declared, smirking. I matched his expression, feeling our rivalry had entered a new stage. From then on, Bakugou challenged me daily to hone our skills together. Our bond grew even closer during work studies in our second year. By chance, Bakugou and I were partnered with the same acclaimed pro hero, the explosive hero Kamui Woods. As he put us through grueling training, I watched in awe of Bakugou's raw talent and leadership abilities coming to full fruition. One night, Bakugou found me practicing alone on the training grounds.
You're still going at it, nerd?
He asked, moving to spot me. His touch sent unfamiliar sparks through my veins that I pushed down, confused. We trained together late into the night, conversation flowing easily between matched drives to succeed. After that, stolen moments alone became our new routine, long talks under starry skies, casual touches lingering for heartbeats too long. Feelings dangerous yet exhilarating blossomed just below the surface, blurring lines we'd never crossed before. I started seeing Bakugou not just as a rival or friend, but as someone who made my heart soar in a way nothing else could. Was it possible he felt the same way? I couldn't bring myself to acknowledge these changing tides, afraid of ruining what we had. But soon enough, fate would push us over an edge there was no returning from. And we'd learn that sometimes, diving into the deep end is the only way forward. As our second year began, I noticed a subtle shift in Bakugou's demeanor. Around me he seemed warm as ever, but when he thought I couldn't see, cracks emerged in his normally unshakable confidence. His attacks in training grew sloppier, leaving openings from distraction I easily exploited. This only served to frustrate him further. Explosions came unchecked, nearly injuring peers he'd once respectfully pulled power against. What changed to spark the sudden decline? Clues surfaced one night, finding Bakugou brooding alone after yet another slip-up cost their team victory. Approaching tentatively, I asked gently what troubled him. Am I such a damn weakling now that a quirkless loser like you can keep chewing me up? He snarled, turning wrath inward at flaws before glaring back at me with equal venom. The words stung harsher than any attack. Sympathy arose instead of injury. My friend suffered turmoil I knew stemmed from deepest insecurities, same as demons haunting nights, forcing me still to train relentlessly under moonlight. Every chance arose, desperately chasing shadows of ever improving constantly. Taking his fist clenched tightly at my collar in hand, calm yet firm tone rang to still wrath's hurricane within.
You were never weak, and I never thought you won. Our strengths differ, yours shines brightest, encouraging all, reaching new limits. As your rival, let me empower you as you have me, sharing victories instead of drowning alone.
Surprise softened rigid shoulders marginally as crimson gaze met mine, searching. Finding truth there, anger washed from tense frame into weary posture, leaning slightly into my hold, a start, at least, towards vanquishing ghosts lurking in places light dared not reach alone. Our fates remained entwined, for better or worse, together was how we'd overcome whatever shadows dared creep within. Reconciliation mended cracks, yet underlying turmoil festered as insecurities found new ways emerging. Civil words concealed barbs meant less to hurt than defend against perceived threats. Rescuing another's diminished worth often proves harder than accepting one's own, as Bakugou showed, stubbornly refusing guidance while criticism rained upon perceived failures. Soon tensions boiled over, bubbling poison seeping relationships' fragile bonds tenuously pieced back. During a calamity simulation, Bakugou's explosive onslaught proved too unbridled, and oversight led screaming victim crushed under tons of twisted metal while he stood helplessly amid smoldering rubble, paralyzed by panic and self-loathing's chokehold. There in the wreckage, spirit broken by failure's weight, Bakugou turned wrath against its true source by lashing out at my well-meaning attempts to pull him from despair's depths. Enough was enough, the time had come to face harsh realities, and pull each other back from edges where only chaos and sorrow lied, no matter the cost. Our friendship's true test had only just begun. Following Bakugou's outburst during the training exercise, tensions between us reached a boiling point. I confronted him about his increasingly volatile behavior, hoping a heart-to-heart could help relieve whatever festered beneath the surface. "What's gotten into you lately? You're putting lives at risk by losing control," I pleaded. But Bakugou only met my concern with more venom.
Oh, like you care. Always looking down on me and pretending to understand. Why don't you run off and play hero alone if I'm such a nuisance?
His biting words cut deep, yet I refused walking away while he so clearly struggled. "That's not fair, and you know it. I'm trying to help because I care about you." Frustration mounted as Bakugou suddenly exploded, flames engulfing the training ground between us.
Stop acting like you know me, Deku. From the beginning all you've done is get in my way. I'll never be satisfied as long as you're constantly one-upping me with that damn quirk of yours.
He advanced menacingly, heat shimmering in his eyes colored crimson by fury and something darker I couldn't place. "Kaken, please calm down. I never meant to make you feel that way, I just wanted us to push each other to improve. You're so talented, your power is your own, not defined by anyone else." But rational words fell on deaf ears as Bakugou unleashed an explosion directly at me, consumed by jealous rage. Everything seemed to move in slow motion. I knew I couldn't dodge in time, yet activating my quirk risked seriously harming Bakugou. In that split second, I made a choice, bracing for impact and hoping he'd snap out of it before it was too late. Searing pain overwhelmed my senses before darkness took hold. When awareness returned, bright lights blinded as medics frantically worked over my damaged body. My condition was critical. Third-degree burns covered most of my torso and right arm, which had taken the brunt of the blast. I struggled to remain conscious through the agony, mustering strength to rasp, "Where is he?" Heavy footsteps approached as a familiar voice responded grimly, "Bakugou has been detained until further notice. You should focus on recovering, we'll discuss consequences for his actions once you're stabilized." All Might's words did little to ease my worries. Had Bakugou truly tried to kill me in a deranged state of mind? What horrors must he be facing alone right now? Days passed in a nightmarish haze as medicine battled constant waves of pain. I drifted in and out of awareness, each time waking alone with more questions. Had Bakugou's actions completely severed our bonds beyond repair? Did he even regret what he did, or was our friendship all a bitter illusion meant to crumble from the start? There were no answers yet, only the fading echo of screams as darkness reclaimed my broken body once more. After what felt like an eternity drifting between pain and fitful sleep, awareness finally stabilized as I awoke once more in the hospital room. Moonlight spilled through the window, illuminating a blurry shape slumped motionlessly in a chair by my bedside. Kaken?" I croaked weakly, straining to focus my bleary vision. At the sound of my voice, the figure's head snapped up with a start, revealing swollen eyes rimmed red from tears beneath disheveled blonde locks.
Deku, you're awake, thank God.
Bakugou breathed, rising unsteadily to lean over me with guarded expression. His usual vitality seemed utterly drained, consumed by anguish, leaving only a shallow shell in its wake. Tentatively, as if to confirm I was real, Bakugou reached for my bandaged hand, holding it gently between his own calloused palms.
I'm so sorry, I don't know what came over me, losing control like that. Hurting you is unforgivable.
His broken voice cracked under guilt's crushing weight, mirroring the turmoil raging behind glassy red irises, meeting my gaze full of remorse. I clasped his hand firmly in return, managing a weak but sincere smile. It's okay, I know you didn't mean it. You were just going through a rough patch and lashed out, but that's over now. I'm still here for you, Kaken. My forgiveness came easily despite wounds barely starting to heal, understanding his pain stemmed from the same insecurities haunting us both. For the first time since our fallout, Bakugou wept freely, clinging to me like a lifeline in a storm.
How can you say that after what I did? I almost killed you, Deku.
He sobbed, raw and vulnerable, unlike anything I'd seen from the proud hero in training before. Stroking his hair soothingly, I held him close despite wounds protesting, heart swelling with compassion for my closest friend so lost within himself. But you didn't. And I know the real Kaken, brave, passionate, and fiercely loyal. He would never betray someone he cares about, no matter what demons torment him. So please, don't punish yourself anymore. I'm here for you always, just like you were for me as kids. At last, Bakugou's tears slowed, replaced by trembling relief in my embrace. That night, walls crumbled between us as demons were exorcised, laying bare hearts intertwined since childhood beyond definition. Bonds of steel emerged from flames of crisis, granting solace as we drifted to peaceful slumber side by side, as it was always meant to be. A new dawn arrived, literally and metaphorically, as sunlight spilled over our sleeping forms. Waking gracefully to find Bakugou still holding me protectively even unconscious, tenderness filled my battered form, replacing lingering pains. Fate worked in hopeful ways, bringing us full circle, gifting chance to rise reborn from ashes of adversity together. Our journey was one of constant growth, but love remained constant as the rising sun, guiding tomorrow's horizons ever brighter. In the days following my confrontation with Bakugou in the hospital, recovery proved difficult both physically and emotionally. My injuries gradually healed with rest and treatment, though nightmares of that fateful night still haunted my dreams. Bakugou visited daily, guilt weighing on him heavily as he helped in any way he could. I reassured him endlessly that what happened was in the past, and that pushing each other to be better was what truly mattered. Still, shadows lingered behind his eyes that refused to fade. When I was finally discharged, Bakugou insisted on staying by my side at home to assist until fully healed. Our friends checked in as well, thrilled to see us repairing our bond after its darkest hour. All the while, lingering glances and comforting touches spoke volumes left unsaid. One evening, watching the sunset alone together eased lingering tensions. I'm sorry I put you through so much hell. You didn't deserve any of it, Bakugou muttered, not meeting my gaze. I took his rough hand in mine gently. We both had demons, Kaken. But overcoming them made us stronger. Leaning my head on his shoulder drew a shaky inhale, tense muscles slowly unwinding under my touch. Turning to face him, hopeful yet hesitant, I asked, what happens now between us? Bakugou studied our joined hands as if finding answers there.
I vow to always be there for you, no matter what. If you'll have me, I want to walk together from here. As more than friends.
Smiling softly, I cupped his cheek, directing sorrowful scarlet up to meet joyful green. There's no one I'd rather have by my side. Closing the distance, our lips met in a sweet kiss, sealing new beginnings. No darkness could withstand love's persevering light. From that day, hand in hand we continued healing as an official couple, supporting each other through any struggle. While some disapproved, those close to us offered nothing but acceptance and cheer. Our bond only grew deeper with time's test. 2 years after that fateful incident, we graduated UA at the top of our class, ready to protect society side by side. Though shadows try dimming hope's flame, together we emerge each trial stronger, more resolute in our promise to be pillars lifting others when fear reigns. With Kaken as my partner in all things, no challenge could sever dreams we worked endless nights to realize under guiding stars. The future remains unwritten, but filled with infinite potential for spreading good in a world needing help now more than ever. And with his unwavering faith keeping my spirit soaring ever higher, no dream is beyond our reach if we stretch for it with joined hands. Graduating from UA at the top of our class was a monumental achievement Bakugou and I had worked tirelessly towards. Standing on stage receiving our hero licenses, pride swelled as friends and family cheered our accomplishments. But this was only the beginning, the real test lay ahead in the professional hero world. We interned under the #1 hero Endeavor, who pushed us to harsh new limits with his rigorous training regime. Though his methods were unorthodox, there was no denying his power and expertise in the field. I admired Bakugou working closely under his mentorship, watching long-held potential flourish at last without internal demons holding him back. When it came time to decide our hero names and costumes, we spent hours brainstorming and refining designs to fully embody the heroes we aspired to become. For Bakugou, a sleek outfit complementing his explosive quirk was paired with the name Ground Zero, powerful yet hinting at his journey rising from ashes of the past. My support gear focused on mobility and analysis, finishing with the moniker Deku, a name Bakugou had once used to demean, but that I now wore with pride thanks to his belief in my strength. Our debut was a rousing success, villains no match against our perfectly coordinated teamwork. Before long, we quickly rose through the rankings, establishing heroic reputations with passionate dedication to justice. I assisted rescue operations and triaged casualties while Bakugou launched devastating attacks, always watching each other's backs with clockwork precision forged from years as partners. Naturally, pro-life brought its own stresses: long hours, harrowing struggles sometimes ending in tragedy despite our best efforts. During dark nights waking to muffled cries, I held Bakugou, consoling him as he had for me through countless storms. Our empathy grew deeper together, facing challenges the world threw at us, balanced by quiet moments replenishing souls with gentle intimacy between missions. One particularly draining case dealing with a hostage situation finally broke Bakugou's prideful resolve, collapsing into my arms begging forgiveness for past mistakes as if they still haunted him. Stroking his hair tenderly, I kissed away flowing tears affirming forgiveness absolute in my eternal love. No act of penance could outweigh his good, challenging each dawn to be better than before. From then on, nightmares seemed vanquished by undying devotion. 5 prosperous years passed in blissful career, cementing us among Japan's highest-ranked heroes after numerous victories against formidable foes. Though scars bore witness to battles survived, within hearts lay only gratitude for this life we built side by side. Nothing could dim shine of home found in another's loving gaze, fueling flames burning stronger than any challenge ahead. Throughout our careers as top heroes, Bakugou and I walked a careful tightrope, keeping our romantic relationship under wraps. While hero work was our priority, denying a major part of who we were left an empty feeling. So after 5 years of service, we decided it was time the world knew the full truth. I'll never forget the day we held our press conference, standing together hand in hand before a sea of reporters. With unwavering conviction, Bakugou declared,
Deku is not just my partner, he's the love of my life, and always has been since we were kids. I'm done hiding who I am out of fear.
His emotional admission brought me to happy tears. I spoke next with equal passion. Bakugou accepts me wholly for who I am, and has been my strength through every challenge. His love gives me courage to be completely authentic. As expected, coming out stirred a media frenzy. Some criticized that being openly gay would compromise our hero duties, while others rallied support calling for acceptance. Through it all, our friends and mentor Endeavor stood proudly by our side against ignorance. Dark days followed with harassment and threats, testing new limits of restraint against irrational biases. Steadfast as the sunrise, Bakugou refused backing down, confronting any who dared challenge our bond. His fiery protection warmed my soul during tormented nights, reminding why I fell for this passionate hero above all others. Gradually, acceptance grew as actions proved love's power, motivating us to save countless lives regardless of orientation. Being honest re-energized purpose, knowing we gave hope to many still hiding who they are. 5 years flew past in joyful partnership, standing as symbols for an inclusive future. Along our journey together, new dreams blossomed, settling down, starting a family of our own. One sunny afternoon, after successfully foiling a villain ambush together, I turned to Bakugou breathless yet beaming. Taking his hands, I channeled every ounce of adoration into 4 simple words: marry me, Kaken. His jaw went slack for long moments, crimson eyes glassy with barely contained emotions.
You damn nerd, making me cry like this. Of course I'll marry you, I love you.
Crashing into my embrace, passionately sealing our promise with a deep kiss, resonated cheers of celebration across city streets. Our wedding was a joyous supernova, every face glowing with well wishes for our eternal love. Cutting the cake hand in hand as husbands, nothing could exceed euphoria, dancing freestyle all night in each other's arms, grateful for blessings weaved into our story against all improbable odds. Now, 5 blissful years into married life, another miracle graced our family, a beautiful baby boy, product of endless hope carried within since dreaming under starry nights as innocent teens. Holding little Katsuki in my arms with Bakugou beaming proudly, completeness flooded my heart. Our story was far from over, new chapters awaited, guiding life for all who dare embrace destiny on love's unconquerable wings.